What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Officer Show. Today we're going to be looking at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series convention exclusives. So we have 3 different sets here that were all exclusive for conventions this year. So first off, we have this Cassian Andor B2 Emo 2-pack. So of course from the Andor series going on right now, this is a series I enjoy quite a lot. So this is pretty cool. So we get this pack that has Cassian Andor. So there we have Andor from the series. So we have this cool box design. So we've had boxes like these before for past conventions, and usually you pull them out and they just kind of stop right here and kind of like flex back and forth, but these actually come out and are just pretty much like this normal Star Wars like triangular side boxes and stuff, just without the covering on it. But there we have Cassian Andor in his look as he appears in the show, and of course we have the side profile piece there of Andor for it, which is pretty cool. And on the other side we have B2 Emo, or B2 as they call him, so his little red droid. So that is pretty cool with this pack getting him, and I think so far this is the only way to get it, so that's one of the main reason why we got this, is just for the droid. But looks pretty cool, and of course his side of the box there as well, and around on back just an all black box, so nothing too fancy box wise, but pretty cool to have that. So we get Cassian Andor and B2 again from the Andor series, and then we have 2 other exclusive packs. So from the Mandalorian we have the Jon Favreau version of Vizsla. So with this one we have this where it just comes with a head of Jon Favreau there, since he's director and plays Vizsla in the show. So we do have that. So unfortunately it's nothing too crazy, it's just Vizsla once again, just with that Jon Favreau head, but still pretty cool, and we decided to get that to go along with our other directors that we've already looked at. And then we have the Boba Fett in disguise for the comic book series. So this looks pretty cool. Of course, a nice shiny box design. Everything has the box design we've seen with the other comic books, but if we open it we can see the Boba Fett there, where he's pretty much just painted all black this time. And of course there's a story that I'll go into, just pretty much all painted black, and then has an axe there as well that looks pretty cool, and there's a picture of him there on the side of the box. So pretty cool for that as well. And of course all of these are exclusive to different conventions, from San Diego Comic-Con, PulseCon, and Star Wars Celebration. So all different convention exclusives here that we'll be looking at today. So let me get these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So we're going to start off with the PulseCon 2022 exclusive Cassian and B2 Emo pack from the Andor series. And overall, I think he looks pretty good there. This is definitely the best looking version of Cassian we've had. Of course, played by Diego Luna, so we can see his face in there. It's still not the best, but I think it looks much better than we've had in the past. And I'll show you the other figure we have. But overall, I think he looks pretty decent with the beard and everything. Of course, his hair design, which looks pretty nice. You know, I always say Hasbro has really nice hair design, so this fits pretty good. And then he's got the outfit on that he's wearing in the Andor show, especially in like the first couple episodes. So he's got the coat on over the top that's got like the dark brown or black colors with sort of like the really dark maroon color in there, so you can see those colors and everything. That has nice hood design. You can see all the like the stitching and stuff, so they did a really good job on this coat design. The different hood layers and everything there look cool. And then underneath he's got like this green shirt on with the dark green and lighter green colors, with like the blue shirt underneath and even an undershirt under there. So he's got multiple layers on it. Belt around the waist that has some nice gold designs and stuff, and some little pockets or whatever there. Some brown and black pants on, so with some really dark brown colors, especially up there, black in the center, and then the black color boots as well that look like they go pretty high. Some nice straps around, all sorts of little straps that they add details so it's hanging off and stuff. So they once again did a really good job on this figure overall. Now unfortunately, like most Star Wars figures, it is really shiny. Heck, the figure's really shiny as well as the face, which is always my biggest issue with the Star Wars figures, but I still think overall he looks really good. And just for that comparison, here is the newer version of Cassian Andor that we got from the Rogue One series, so part of the newer Rogue One wave. So you can see the difference, and I think this new one definitely looks much more like Diego Luna compared to this one. So this one is definitely a much better improvement. I just like the outfit, so I'd probably take that off this one and put it on the other one. Would probably be my ultimate version of Andor, but still a really nice figure design. Just overall not the best, because I feel I need like a more iconic look for him. But we'll do the movement, so his head can twist all the way around to look down that far and up that far, so not much movement because of the head design. The shoulders can come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with the rotation, and the wrist can twist around. It's hard to twist because of the sleeve, and rock back and forth, so this one is an up and down flex. We get the ab crunch just at the waist, so he can crunch back and forth, but again with the coat you can't really get much crunching, and can twist around there as well. The hips can come up that far, maybe pretty close to 90 actually, out to the side. A thigh twist all the way around. The single knee joint that bends back to 90 and has some rotation in it. Then we get the foot that flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So not bad. Doesn't have the best movements because he has limited movements, but what movements are there are pretty good, so no major issues. So overall a pretty good Cassian. And for accessories, all he gets is a gun, which is an MW20 Briar pistol, so just the gun we see him have in the early episodes of the show. So with this we can put it into his hand. Now unfortunately he doesn't come with any holster or anything, so you always have to sort of have it in his hand, but I think that looks pretty cool. You know, fits good, so we get Cassian and at least a gun accessory to go along with him, and overall it's a pretty good figure. And also in this pack, we get the droid of B2 Emo, or B2 as they call him, which is a ground mech salvage assistant unit that's owned by Marva Andor, so Cassian's mom that we see in the show. But unfortunately, B2 suffers from malfunctions of vocal stuttering and data lag, so he doesn't really function as the best droid, but he also has an electroshock prod for self-defense. So overall, just looks like a red trash can, has nice like track wheels there on the bottom that look pretty cool, and overall just nice. Of course, all dirty and stuff is supposed to be designed here all dirty and beat up. But what's cool about this is it sort of extends out, so we can go and pull each little sections there to extend them up, and then pull it up to see the eye. So there we've got B2's eye in there, so nice red eye design and some other little designs in there that of course you can't really see or anything, but it's still cool that it has it, and it's awesome that you can extend it up like this, so it makes him a little bit taller and more open and stuff. But of course when he's in like power down mode, he just closes up and everything, but it's still pretty cool that you have the extend out version. And then we also have movement and like the little feet design, so they have a little bit of like rocking back and forth, but they do slide forward. I don't remember him like in the show really looking like it, like his feet are spread out or anything, but you can kind of widen it out for a wider like tank tread or whatever there, so spread his legs out a little bit. So overall there's not a whole lot of function. The head can like twist around there as well, so it can kind of add some movements like, what are you doing over there? But overall there's not much to it. It's just, pretty much just a plastic figure, so they didn't have to put a whole lot of work into this. But overall, it's not much to it. It's just a little red box thing, the chunk of plastic almost. But it's still pretty cool that we got B2 as well as Cassian, just so you can see the height difference there, how small the droid is. So it just comes up to about his knees or so, I would say. So not a very big figure or anything, but pretty cool that comes with it since it is a character from the show. And like I said, so far this is about the only way you can get this figure for the Black Series, but still pretty cool to have him included in here in the 2-pack with Cassian from PulseCon. And from this year's Star Wars Celebration, we have Vizsla, which of course we've had Vizsla before, which is a heavy infantry Mandalorian from the Mandalorian series. We see him sort of fight with Mando sometimes, and we saw him in the Book of Boba Fett fight with Mando over possession of the Darksaber. But yeah, pretty much figure we've already had before. The only difference with this is that it has the unmasked head of Jon Favreau, so a director of the Mandalorian series, one of the main directors in there. Pretty cool to have the head there of Jon Favreau, so he's got the little mustache design, and of course his more curly black hair. Of course now he's more gray than anything, but still looks pretty good. Of course I can definitely see and tell that's Jon Favreau. Of course they've had his face design when they did the Happy Hogan figure, and then he's around a lot, so I'm sure they can get some nice face scans on him. And overall his face isn't as shiny as we've seen with other figures, so I like that a lot, how much more like flat and matte it is. So I like that. I wish more Star Wars figures didn't have as shiny of faces, but overall looks pretty good. So that's pretty much the main reason for this figure, because otherwise it's just the Vizsla figure, which you've had before, so we can bring that in. So it's going to be exactly the same. You can see there's a little bit of a color difference. It looks like this Vizsla they've made a little bit more dirty compared to this newer one, so he's much more shinier and cleaner and everything, but overall the figure wise is going to be exactly the same. So for that, we'll go and do the movements so the head can twist all the way around, look down that far, look up that far, so he has the movements in the lower neck as well as up in the actual head, so decent movements with those. The shoulders can come up to 90 and it has the soft armor that gets out of the way, so it can come up pretty close to 90, have a butterfly joint there, and can rotate around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with the rotation, and there's some movement with the van braces there too, so right under there the wrist can twist around and flex up and down for this hand, but because of the van brace it doesn't really move at all. We get the up wrap crunch, so crunch back and forth and twist around a little bit. The hips can come up pretty close to 90 out to the side there, thigh twist around, a double knee joint, which is going to be hard because of the skirting piece, but can go up that high and pretty much kick itself in the butt. And then we get the foot that flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So although he is a bigger figure, he's got pretty decent movements. The only real issue with movements is in like the ab crunch, you can't really twist it all, but that's not really necessary. A bigger, bulkier character, I assume there would be much more issues, but he really doesn't have any. So it's cool though that he does come with the helmet that you can remove, which is a bigger, bulkier helmet, but it sits on pretty nice. It's a little bit loose, but it doesn't just fall off or anything, and it sits on there pretty nice, so it doesn't really see that there's much of a face under there. You can kind of see it there, but overall, just looking at it straight on, you don't notice it, so carries out the look there really well. And of course he comes with his jetpack piece, so he's got the flamethrower, jetpack, heavy blaster cannon, so flamethrower there on his one arm, so kind of sticking off there, and then of course the jetpack and the gun there, so we can put this into his back. And for that flamethrower we have the little cord here that comes around and attaches into it, so it pops right in there to feed the flamethrower, and then we have the gun that we can pop off and bring around into his hands. And the gun's pretty cool, so it has a maneuvering on the piece here, and then we have the little gun trigger piece here that he can hold on to, and it moves back and forth to adjust and stuff. So let me get this in his hand. So there's Vizsla with the heavy blaster blaster, which looks pretty cool. And of course, it's harder to make it bulky to get into his hand stuff, but I think overall it looks pretty cool. So pretty awesome to have this version. I would say this is like the ultimate version because I like his looks and colors, like with the brighter, cleaner colors and stuff. And then also getting the helmet to remove, although we never see him without the helmet in the show. It is still cool to have that with the Jon Favreau head underneath that, like I said, for Star Wars looks really good because it's not as shiny and stuff as normal. So it's a really nice head to have on under there. So overall, this is a really cool figure. Like I said, this would probably be my ultimate version of Paz Vizsla. But now that we have this, of course, we have Jon Favreau, you know, a director of The Mandalorian, as I said. Well, then we can bring in the other directors that we have. So we have the Dave Filoni and George Lucas figures. So we have our 3 directors of Star Wars. Of course, George Lucas with the originals, and then Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau being a part of The Mandalorian series. Of course, Filoni being the Clone Wars and everything else like that. But still pretty cool to have the 3 directors here on the Star Wars bodies, almost like the Hasbro selfie series with Star Wars directors. Still pretty cool to have them there, and definitely the Jon Favreau is the best looking out of all 3. And finally, that brings us to the Boba Fett in disguise. So it's just the all blacked out version of Boba Fett, which was from the comic book Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha #1 from 2021. So the box you saw in the opening was from the director's cut cover A. So that picture was taken directly from there. But in the storyline, Boba's on his way to Jabba the Hutt to deliver Han Solo and Carbonite, but realized that something is wrong with the Carbonite. So he stops by the smuggler's moon to see Doc Regan, who informs Boba that Han will liquefy in the Carbonite if they don't stabilize it. But Boba doesn't have any money to pay Regan, so he agrees to carry out a bounty, but doesn't want people to know it's him. So to hide his signature look, they end up nano spray painting Boba Fett's armor all black. So, you know, you can tell it's someone completely different and not Boba Fett at all that's just all painted black. That it's some other bounty hunter that's wearing a Mandalorian armor and looks exactly like Boba Fett, but the paint will wear off in a few days, and by the end of the comic, he's all back to normal. So this is just that version of Boba Fett. So this is the Empire Strikes Back version of Boba Fett. You can tell with like the gauntlets and his overall design. So it's that Empire Strikes Back version, just in all black. So he's just painted all black. So it's an easy figure for Black Series to do because all they do is take the figure they already have and just paint it all black this time. So it looks pretty cool and very awesome, and it comes with a cool accessory. But overall, it's not a necessary figure at all. This is one you could definitely skip unless you just love the look of the black Boba Fett. But let's go and do the movements. So his head can twist around. It's very stiff though, but his head can twist all the way around, and he can look down that far and up that far. So not bad movements in there. The shoulders can come up pretty close to 90. You got to push down on it to get the armor under there, but it can come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 there and has rotation, and he has the rotation there as well as the top of the van brace. And then we get the wrist that twists around and flex back and forth. He's got the ab crunch right at his waist, so crunch back and forth and twist around there. The hips can come up a little bit. Of course, he has these big pockets on the front stuff, so you don't really get too much movement there, so it can come up a little out to the side, not too bad. A thigh twist all the way around. A double knee joint, which is pretty cool. For Boba Fett's, we tend to get single knee joints, so double there that goes up that far, and then the foot flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So the pretty standard movements, and especially standard for Boba Fett, like I said, except for now he tends to have single knee joints instead of the double, which function pretty good. But overall, it is just your Boba Fett, like I said, from Empire Strikes Back. So we have this version here, and so you can see much more of the details and stuff if you want to compare them and everything to tell it is this version compared to the Return of the Jedi version. One way that definitely tells with the helmet, it doesn't have the viewfinder move. It's just always sticking straight up there, and that's what this one has as well. But for accessories, he comes with the Sarkos K11 blaster, so his like disintegrator blaster, and so he has that just all in black we can put into his hand, or you can put it into the pocket here on the side there, but we're going to just pop it in his hand. He also comes with his jetpack, so just like the other jetpacks we've had before, just in all black again this time, so has that longer missile and stuff there up on the top, but we got the jetpack we'll put into his back. So there he's got that jetpack. And then finally, the cool accessory that he comes with is that he also has this axe. Of course, it's just a cheap looking axe, not the best looking axe, but it's just in the all black design as well that he uses in the comic series. We'll put this axe in his other hand. So there we've got Boba Fett. So there he is in his all black disguise where he's got his gun and the axe. And overall, it's pretty cool. You know, it's definitely not a necessary Boba Fett. As I said, just kind of if you want to have a different look for Boba Fett in the all black, and you know, it is from the comic, so it's not like it's just a made up thing. And then we also comes with the axe that I think is pretty cool. So if you want to have a cool axe to go along with your Boba Fett, I guess that'd be another reason to get this. But overall, it's not necessary, and it was a San Diego exclusive, so it's gonna be hard to get and stuff if you do want it. But like I said, definitely not the coolest thing ever, but I do like it a lot. Well, there's our 3 Star Wars Black Series Convention exclusive packs, where we have the Cassian Andor B2 emo pack from Andor from PulseCon. We have the Vizsla with the Jon Favreau head from Star Wars Celebration, and the disguised Boba Fett from San Diego Comic-Con. So all 3 of these are really cool. All of them, like I said, are not necessary, but I really like them. Like the Cassian, I think he looks good, but I know they're releasing multiple Cassian, so probably not necessary to get this pack unless you just wanted the B2 emo, since like I said, it's the only way he's released so far. Vizsla isn't necessary, you know, just Vizsla, just in a little bit different colors, but cool that he comes with that Jon Favreau head, and like I said, that is a really good head design. And then the disguised Boba Fett is just an all black version of Boba Fett. If you just had a spare Boba Fett, you could just take it outside, spray paint it all black, and you'd pretty much have the same thing. So all of them aren't necessary figures, but I do like each one of them, and I am happy that we did get them. But like I said, if you missed out, it's not the end of the world, because there's definitely better versions of these out there. But let me know what you thought of the figures down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.